Merhaba arkadaşlar, IEFT Talks Seminerlerine hepiniz hoş geldiniz. İsveç'in en iyi üniversitelerinden biri olan Linnaeus University, İngilizce eğitim ve kariyer imkanlarını Sofia ve Stefan anlatacak. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayınız. Yes, Sofia, stage is yours now.
Thank you so much. Warm welcome to this presentation with Linnaeus University. My name is Sofia Bugge and I work with international student recruitment at Linnaeus University. And with me, I also have my colleague, Stefan, that you will be introduced to more in a bit. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen now. Can you see my PowerPoint now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is a presentation with Linnaeus University. We're a modern international university in the Småland region of Sweden. As I already mentioned, today it's me, Sofia Bugge, and I also have my colleague Stefan Haglund here with me. And here you also see our contact details if you want to email us. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to start by showing you a short video about Linnaeus University, and then I'm going to tell you some words about Sweden in general, and then we're going to dig a little bit deeper into our university. And afterwards, Stefan will talk to you a little bit about practical information, scholarships, tuition fee, how to apply, and in the end, we'll have a Q&A. But also feel free to ask questions during the presentation, and we will answer them in the chat as well during the presentation. So yeah, just ask questions when you come up with them. So I'll start by showing you a video about Linnaeus University, and I hope it will work fine. Oh. So that was just a short video about Linnaeus University. And if you want to see more, we have a YouTube channel. Stefan will send you the link for that in the chat. It's a great place to have a look around, to get some more information about the university in general and see interviews with students and so on. So I strongly recommend having a look. So some brief facts about Sweden. Sweden is quite a small country. We have a population of 10 million people. And the capital of Sweden is Stockholm. Even if we're a small country, we're in the top 5 list in the world in terms of innovation, safety, democracy and human rights, environmental friendly, and gender equality. We are also known for being entrepreneurs, and a lot of big companies come from Sweden. So some companies are IKEA, H&M, Ericsson, Volvo, Spotify, and Skype. So quite a variety of different companies that comes from here. Something that is a little bit special about Sweden is that we have 4 different seasons with different weather. So we have the autumn in September to November that is colorful, but can be a little bit windy and rainy. And the temperature is 10 to 15 degrees. In the winter that we are in right now, it can be pretty cold. And it can go down to -15, but most of the time it's just below 0. And actually right now it's just below 0 and we have snow. So that makes it, even if it's quite dark, the snow makes everything bright in one way that's hard to explain, but you have to see it for yourself. The spring can be usually quite sunny, a little bit windy with temperatures of 10 to 15 degrees. And the summer can be warm and sunny with temperatures above 20 degrees, which is a perfect temperature for going for a swim. And we have a lot of lakes and also ocean close to our campuses. I just want to fastly show you also two web pages that can be good to have a look at if you are interested in Sweden or studying in Sweden. So it's this one, sweden.se. Here you can find a lot of different information regarding business, culture and tradition, nature, quick facts, society. So it's a good place to have a look around to learn some more about Sweden in general. I also recommend this webpage, studyInSweden.se. It's a great webpage to have a look if you are interested in studying in Sweden, because here you can find all the programs that we have in Sweden, and you can find more about planning your studies, moving to Sweden, and you all can also read blogs from students that are here at the moment as well. So I recommend having a look there. So that's all I'm actually going to say about Sweden in general. And now I wanted to talk more about Linnaeus University, and I'll start by just showing a short video about it. So Linnaeus University is one of Sweden's youngest universities, and we were established in 2010 in a merger between Växjö University and Kalmar University, and that is actually two different cities where we have our campuses, because we have two. In the video they say 33,000 students, but actually now we have 44,000 students, so we have been increasing quite a lot. We also have 2,000 employees, and this makes us the 6th largest university in Sweden if you count to the number of students. We are also ranked on Shanghai ranking, where we are top 800 to 900 out of 18,000 universities. Linnaeus University is a university where life and everything is possible. We offer a broad range of different subjects within both arts and humanities, health and life science, social science, natural science, technology, business and economics. And we have approximately 50 programs taught in English in both bachelor and master level. We also have 2,200 international students on campus. So where are we situated? Well, we are in Sweden, and we are actually in the southern part of Sweden. And as I mentioned before, we have two different campuses, one in Växjö and one in Kalmar, and it's around 1 hour by train between the two campuses. So you can see here to the right, in the map to the right, you can see Kalmar and Växjö, how they are located. And the easiest way to get here is actually to go to Copenhagen Airport and then take the train, and it takes 2.5 to 3.5 hours. And if you want to go to the capital of Sweden, it's 3 to 4 hours by train from our campuses. So now I want to tell you a little bit more about the different campuses we have. We have Växjö campus, that is called a living campus. The campus is located in the capital of the county of Kronoberg, which have 90,000 inhabitants. And it's actually called the greenest city in Europe because it has a major focus on sustainable development. Personally, I also think it could be called the greenest city in Europe because it is surrounded by greeneries, by parks, and a lot of nature and forest. And it is actually located in the heavily forested part of Småland, which has contributed to the forestry and wood industry research that we have at the university. Something that is unique about our campus in Växjö is that it is a university style, it's a US style university campus, which means that the students, most of our students, they live on campus, but they also have all of their needs on campus. So they have food markets and restaurants and a gym and also library and other university facilities within walking distance. So you can have basically most of your life there. Or you can also choose to live in Växjö in the city center, and then you have 10 minutes bike ride to the campus. Our next campus is Kalmar, a student city by the sea. It is located in the capital of the county of Kalmar, which have 70,000 inhabitants. And it's internationally prominent research that we carry out there in the natural science, and that is because it is linked to the Baltic Sea. Actually, our campus is just by the Baltic Sea, and we built new facilities there now in 2019, and we actually moved into the new library now over the Christmas break. So starting this year, the library will have an ocean view, so it has a great location. I also wanted to show you a short video that tells a little bit more about the student life in the different cities.
I gotta be honest, when I was coming to Dhaka, I was really stressed about this. I was afraid that I'm not gonna fit in. Just move here without knowing anyone and just starting a new life here.
First few days was challenging, of course, because I came from a very hot country. But then after that period, it's super nice, and the Swedish summer, awesome. So now here, I came from Bangladesh around 2 years ago, and I'm studying Innovation Masters. Living here on the campus, the best part is like there is always something to do, maybe a fika, or maybe doing some sort of workshop, you know. And we have two different pubs, student pubs. We have a gym here. We have library, really nice library here. So everything is really good.
My name is Natalia Pavlova. I come from Russia, Moscow. I was born and raised there, and I just graduated from a master's degree. I was doing a double degree with my home university, and in Sweden I studied entrepreneurship business studies. What I loved about campus culture is not really common for Russia. We don't really have campuses, and which was cool is that once you're free, you can literally call your friends and be like, hey, I'm going to be over to your place and in like 15 minutes and we're going to watch a movie or do some other stuff, do a taco night or anything. Linnaeus University, very international, and you don't feel alone here. You're definitely going to find someone who's going to support you and become your friend throughout this whole amazing trip. My name's Alice. I'm from China. I'm now studying the International Tourism Program. When I first moved here in Kalmar, I joined the Introduction Week or the Welcome Week with my student association, like Kariyer. We have different activities. I get to know my classmates, also like more Swedish people. Here in Kalmar, the next student is more involved in the city. Like, for example, if we go out, we're going to like the city bars. We also meet people who work in the city. I would say I like the atmosphere that we get in touch with the city people who really know about the industry or know about the society. It's really nice to actually be out somewhere calm because Moscow is really stressed. I can actually go out of my room and feel the nature, you know. You don't have time for that in Moscow. Here you do have time for that.
So that was a short video about our different campuses and how our international students think about studying there. So some words about Linnaeus University in the world. We have roughly 730 incoming international students each year, and we also have 2,200 active international students on campus. We also have a lot of our students going on exchange, around 290 students every year. And they can choose between 780 partner universities in more than 80 different countries. And this means that even if you come to us to study your whole program, you can spend some part of your program abroad. So in that way, we are quite an international university. And at this point, I'm actually gonna leave you and hand over to my colleague, or not leave you, I'll just stop sharing my screen and let Stefan share his screen. And just please keep asking questions in the chat and we will answer you there as much as we can.
Thanks for that, Sophia. So I will go through the bit more practical information, and hopefully this means that you can see my screen now, and I will let Sophia continue to answer questions. So keep asking questions during the presentation if you have any, and we will make sure to answer them both during the presentation and afterwards. So a little bit about our programs. Being a university in Sweden, professionality-wise, we offer a lot of programs in English. So we have around 50 programs, as Sophia mentioned before, totally taught in English. If we would count all programs offered at the university, we have around 250 programs. But 50 of them totally taught in English, around 10 of them on bachelor level, and then approximately 40 of them on master level. And that means if you study totally in English, you don't need to speak a word Swedish. And being a university where we have this dual language obviously also means that all information on the university webpage from the teacher and everything will be totally in English if you study in English, and the opposite obviously if you would study in Swedish. One thing, for example, that could be worth mentioning when talking about English and Swedish also is that Sweden is the country in the world actually speaking best English in the world, not having it as first language. It's usually the Swedes, the Dutch, and the Danish who compete about that title in the world. So you will easily get around with English and learn more English while being a student in Sweden. Beside the bachelor and master programs we offer, we also have a lot of single subject courses, and that's like a freestanding course that could be everything from like 5 weeks up to 20 weeks. And this kind of course you can puzzle by yourself if you, for example, have an unfinished degree, or if you want to change program or something like that from a program you're studying somewhere else in the world. So usually we can also offer alternatives. That could be good to know. One thing worth mentioning and that we want to point out also is that we have a strong collaboration with IKEA, the Swedish furniture company that hopefully a lot of you have heard about. One global multinational company who actually has its head office just 50 kilometers south of Växjö campus. So this means that there is a lot of collaboration between IKEA and Linnaeus University. For example, we have a certain master program, the innovation program through business engineering and design, which is for both students from business engineering and design, which we have created and started in collaboration with IKEA. A lot of the students studying at these programs do part of the courses at IKEA actually, and also a lot of them have been employed by IKEA afterwards. Worth mentioning in this is also that the founder of IKEA, Ingvar Kamprad, he created, before he died, the Kamprad Family Foundation, which is a large research foundation which actually has more money in it than the Nobel Prize Foundation, and which also have in its regulations stated that it is to support research conducted in Småland region. And Linnaeus University is actually the only true university in the Småland region. So the university, if we are kind of heavy when it comes to education nowadays, we will grow a lot when it comes to research based on that this foundation has been created partly. Scholarships. I know that a lot of you are wondering about scholarships, whether we offer that. And yes, we offer scholarships. The biggest scholarship program we have is the Linnaeus University Scholarship Program, which is for master level students. And it's for students applying for us as first priority. So in order to be considered for this, make sure that you prioritize Linnaeus University as your first option when you apply at university admission, because the universityadmissions.se portal, which we'll talk a little bit about later, which is the main application portal in Sweden for all Swedish universities, you can choose 4 different programs and universities when applying. But to be considered for our scholarship program, make sure that you prioritize us as first option. The scholarship then would cover 75% of the tuition fees. So you would have to pay 25% by yourself. Scholarship would also be available for students from second year to apply for, and then it also would be available for students at bachelor level. But as first newly admitted students, it's only on master level that we offer this. Second big scholarship program in Sweden is the Swedish Institute Scholarship Program, and that's a scholarship program which is a bit more rare and cover actually the full tuition fee and also living cost. So being such a great scholarship also means that it's a lot of competition to get the scholarship. For this scholarship program, you apply directly through Swedish Institute. So therefore, keep an eye on the studyinsweden.se webpage in order to get information regarding the Swedish Institute Scholarship Program. Which I didn't mention what I didn't mention about the Linnaeus University Scholarship Program is that if you prioritize Linnaeus University as your first option, we will send you instructions through email regarding how to apply. So, altogether, we had approximately like 100 scholarship holders when counting in also summer academy. But approximately when it comes to master level, I would say that 60-70 scholarships we have each year. 50 of them are from the Linnaeus University Scholarship Program, and then approximately 15 to 20 through the Swedish Institute. You can find more information at that link, and I also sent, Sofia will also send it in the chat just in a moment. So tuition fees. Well, tuition fees in Sweden are rather high, but not depending a bit on what you compare with. Most common, you could say that for us would be 110,000 Swedish crowns for a year of studies. Due to that, humanities, social science, and business are the most common program we offer. Secondly, we also have a lot of programs within natural science and engineering, and then you would pay 155,000 Swedish crowns. And also we have some other programs also, which you can see the tuition fee level on here. If you want the tuition fee level in euros, you basically just take away 10, and then you have the tuition fees in euros. So €1 is approximately like 10 Swedish krona. And as I mentioned before, scholarship would cover 75%, so then you would pay 25%. You also, when you are admitted to a program in Sweden, you pay semester by semester. So you will only pay half of this fee directly when admitted. To sum up a little bit about Linnaeus University, some things that Sofia already mentioned, but also some things that are worth mentioning when we want to point that as our unique selling points. Well, first of all, I know that a lot of people consider ranking as a very important part. And to mention in that, as Sofia said before, Linnaeus University are ranked on the Shanghai ranking and among the 800 to 900 among 18,000 universities in the world. Also, the Swedish education system as such is a system which is very strongly, and big part of it is funded by governmental money. Sweden is one of the biggest spender when it comes to research and education per capita in the world. And that means that the university system, education system, generally is a very solid system. And that could be good to understand when we're talking about governmental funded, because 95% of what the university does is governmental funded. Due to that, only a small part of every student is tuition fee paying. So you will study with both students from Europe, Sweden, and obviously all over Sweden, all over the world, sorry. Informal teaching style. Well, for those of you who know something about Sweden, have probably already counted out that you will be in a country which is very modern in its teaching style. So be prepared to be in a very curiosity-driven and creativity and critical thinking-driven environment. And Sweden generally, as a country, has very low hierarchical structures, and that means that, for example, in the classroom, you would never talk to your professor as sir or professor and last name. Here in Sweden, we all have a very informal way of being together in different meetings and lectures, etc., which means that you always talk to each other by first name. You will also learn as much from your friends as you will learn from your teachers, I would say, because there will be a lot of group work and group exams. So you would also learn how to cooperate with your classmates and learn a lot from your classmates from different countries in the world. And also to take a lot of responsibility for your own studies, because there will also be a lot of individual studies where you get instructions from your teacher and need to consider by yourself a lot how to deal with the tasks that you are given. Highly praised university environments. Well, we took part 5-6 years ago in International Student Barometer together with 700 other universities, and by then we were top ranked based on the facilities that we offer, library, university rooms, and everything. So among 700 different universities around the world, we were top ranked. And since then, we have actually built totally new buildings in Kalmar campus, which means that facilities is even more top-notch since then. So having this study environment obviously gives a really good opportunity also to focus on studies. And this in combination with a high quality of life. Växjö declared the green city in Europe, and Kalmar is a very charming medieval tourist city located by the Baltic Sea, where you have a very stable and easy-going life. Being small cities, obviously there is a huge difference from living in a city as Istanbul, where you would maybe spend a lot of hours in traffic, or a lot of people who are competing about everything in the surrounding city. In Växjö and Kalmar, I can assure you, you will be living close to the campus, having walking distance like 5 to 10 minutes from the university, and you get easily around within the city center and between different parts in the city by bicycle. And also very secure small cities with low level of problems generally. Being a country and university with a strong internationalization also means that we have a large community of international students. And this is partly also based on that Linnaeus University have a long tradition of internationalization. So we have a lot of exchange students, tuition-paying students, and researchers from all over the world. So I can assure you that within your studies, within your program, you will for sure meet somewhere between 5 to 10 different nationalities. Active student life, you will meet a lot of different activities beside your studies, obviously. So everything from buddy programs, friend-family projects, student unions, student associations, closely linked at the university. Basically, you have student pubs, gyms, and everything very, very, very closely from your university buildings. Creativity, innovation, sustainability, equality, and diversity are very strong Swedish values that you will learn a lot about also. So a big part is obviously the studies, but also the surrounding society where you can find these values within the society. So whatever you do, you will learn from this also. So a little bit about applying. As maybe some of you know, all applications in Sweden are done through this portal, universityadmissions.se. Generally, I describe it as shopping online, and then everybody understands what it's about. Basically, you search for your educations here, as you see, courses and programs. You can also filter by subject, etc., and you find your programs. And then you basically just click on them and add them in your application. You can, as I said before, choose 4 different master programs. You have to make up the priority order, and when you have done so, you basically just send it in. Application deadline for being in time is 15th of January. So make sure that you do your application before this date. So the part you need to do is to create your application by adding your programs and also filling in the personal information and then sending in the application. And then after that, you also have until 1st of February to pay your application fee and to support your application with documentation. So the application fee would be like 900 Swedish krona. And then the document that you are to send in, you can find information regarding if you search on the menu part about Turkey. It's clearly instructed exactly what kind of documents that should be uploaded with your application. And when it comes to Turkey, it's mostly that you upload documents. So few of the documents needs to be sent in. I think that the majority of you will be able to digitally upload all documents through the same portal. So that makes it a very easy and fast process when it comes to applying. End of March, beginning of April, you will get your notification of selection result. And this is a process that counts for all of Sweden. So we have a joint application system and also joint dates. And the clearing effect is given directly. So you can only be admitted to 1 Swedish university and 1 program. And as I said, by this date, you will know. If you have more questions now, because as you all have figured out, hopefully already, we are running close to the last date to apply, 15th of January. We will have a webinar about application and admission where we talk about this specifically a lot. So this will be at 12th of January, 1 p.m. Central European time. If you want to sign up for this webinar, do so at the link you can see here, lnu.se/en/meet us. Sophia will send it also in the chat. If you have very specific questions, we will get them answered also on this webinar. Some other useful practical information link where you can find a lot of information is obviously the webpage of Linnaeus University, lnu.se. If you want to find information and inspiration about studying at Linnaeus University, you do so at lnu.se/study. If you want to chat with us, you go to the link lnu.se/en/chat. You can also find this possibility on the study page where you can find pop-ups and where you can chat with different of our students. If you want to contact us through email, you can do so through study@lnu.se. You will also have the possibility to contact directly with international office regarding such a thing as residence permit, accommodation, orientation, etc. But they will obviously also send you information. But otherwise, you can contact them already now if you have these kind of questions through international students at lnu.se. And then admissions office have their own contact mail also, admission@lnu.se. And as mentioned before, universityadmissions.se is the place where you do your application. So that's a really good place to be and just to check out what programs that are offered. So, social media. Obviously, you can also join us through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and WeChat. So we will also send you an email due to that you have participated in this webinar. And in that email, you will find the links to all our social medias. If you want to follow live at Linnaeus University and also be sure not to miss the important dates, because we'll always do reminders through our Facebook and Instagram. And also YouTube, as you saw before, the films that Sofia showed you previously, all these films and even more films about, for example, academic life, academic studies in Sweden can be found at this YouTube page. Now, that was actually all from my side when it comes to presentation. And I think that Sofia has been doing her best to just answer your questions through the chat. But I want to leave the word over to Sofia now, actually, and she can just sum up the question that we has got the most, and then we can talk about them.
Yeah, we got quite a lot of different questions, and I've been trying my best to answer them all in the chat. I think we just could start straight away. Do you consider the Turkish university entrance exam score for the application process?
No. So we do not look at any kind of international tests when it comes to entry exams. So what we look at generally, if a student would apply for bachelor level, then we would look at high school diploma. And usually the pass degree that would be given eligibility to a Turkish university is the one we would accept in Sweden also. Beside that, obviously, you also need to prove your English, though. So that's when it comes to bachelor level. When it comes to master levels, it's Turkish bachelors are all considered when they are 4 year. So, but beside that, also English is usually demanded. If it's mentioned on the transcript of records that the education has been given in English, then usually Turkish students are also exempted from providing tests. I could send 2 links where you find information about the requirements. I will find them, will send them here in the chat. So the first link I sent now was regarding bachelor requirements, and the second one is for master students. And as I mentioned before, also you can easily search for these pages on university admission, just typing in Turkey and search.
That's great. I think maybe we could talk a little bit more about scholarships. We have a question here. How do we earn a full scholarship? So maybe some more general information about the scholarship.
Sure. So from Linnaeus University, we do not offer full scholarship, only 75% waiver. The only chance to apply for them would be if you prioritize Linnaeus University as your first option in your application through universityadmissions.se and make the application in time. If you do so before 15th of January, we will send you instructions approximately around 8th of February, I think, and then there will be an application window for the scholarship until 18th of February. In that application, you will fill in like a motivation letter where you will answer certain questions that they will send you in the scholarship application, and you will also upload your CV. Beside those 2 documents, we will look at your GPA, university transcripts, and your English level. So, and then it will be like a review of that, and you compete with everybody else who applies. So it's rather impossible to say what kind of level we demand when it comes to GPA or IELTS. But it's important also that you write a very personal letter and describe yourself as an applicant and why you should be chosen. Because I think that we generally have around 800 to 1,000 applicants, and we award approximately 50 students a scholarship. So it's a hard competition. But apply in time, prioritize Linnaeus University as a first option. And then also, obviously, as I mentioned, you can always apply for the Swedish Institute scholarship, and then you look at studyinSweden.se.
That's great. Thank you, Stefan. So I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about working in Sweden after your studies and also about work permit for Turkish
Sure. So we didn't mention anything about that, and that I understand that a lot of you have questions about that. So being in Sweden at the residence permit for studies entitles you also the right to work as much as you want, actually, because there will be nobody checking how much you work. The only thing that's important is that you still study full-time and that you produce credits from your program, and you should at least produce credits between 15 to 30 credits a year, depending on which year you're at. So you're allowed to work as much as you can manage, and also in order to also study. So it's possible, but also consider that it's tough to find a job in small cities in Sweden due to that there is a hard competition for the part-time jobs that usually students look for, based on that both Växjö and Kalmar are small cities with a lot of students that also are looking for part-time jobs. So when coming here, do not put yourself in a situation where you rely on it and must have it in order to cover your living costs, because it will not be possible and not be that easy to find a job during the first semester or the first year, usually I say. Maybe you can probably find something, but it's easier on the second year. When it comes to after your studies, if you get the degree awarded from Linnaeus University or any Swedish university, bachelor or master, doesn't matter, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, doesn't matter. When you do and get, you are entitled to stay in Sweden for a year in order to find a job. If you find a job during that year, then you can also apply for a work permit, and which is rather easy to get if you find a job which has entitled you to a wage more than 14,000 a month, I think, approximately like that. There is no certain areas of the job market that it has to be on. It's no matter what kind of job you find, as long as it gives you more than 14,000 a month as a wage, then you can apply for it. Usually then, if it's a position which is not temporary, then you will get a work permit for 2 years. Second, if you apply, if you still have the same job, you get another 2 years, and after that it would be a permanent residence permit.
That's great, thank you, Stefan. And we got a lot of different questions regarding the requirements for the program. So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about where to find them.
Definitely. So if you go to our program pages, you will find a section that says entry requirements. So as I talked a little bit about firstly, for example, for the master programs, we demand that you have like a 4-year degree, Turkish degree. And also that's only to get like kind of eligibility to master level. Beside that, we always demand English. So English requirements in Sweden would be, for example, it's equivalent to the Swedish high school course English 6. When looking at tests, for example, we demand 6.5 from IELTS or 90 from TOEFL, the internet-based test. So 4-year degree and also prove your English. If your education, your bachelor, university education has been taught in English, you're exempted from tests if it's mentioned on the transcript of records that it's been totally in English. When it comes to every program, then there might be specific requirements. For example, some of our programs in business demand that you have studied in business or a related area. So it's important when looking at the program that you check this out and don't apply for a program that you not meet the requirements for, because in that case, you will not be considered at all in the selection. So for example, applying from business, it's good to have business or similar fields in social science. Applying for engineering, usually, for example, electrical engineering, you would demand that you have electrical engineering background. Mechanical engineering would demand that you have mechanical engineering. Computer science would demand that you have a computer science background. So usually Swedish masters are depth masters, but some are broader. So look at that and read and try to understand that also before applying.
And you can always find on the program page what requirements are needed for the different programs. So just go into ilenu.se, search for the program, and then on the right, there will be like a table, and in there you will find the requirements. We also have some questions regarding student visa for Turkish students, if they have an issue getting a resident permit in Sweden.
Generally, there is not a big issue for Turkish students. So what the Board of Migration look at is that you are admitted, that you paid your tuition fee, first installment, and that you have insurance, and also that you have a bank statement that proves that you cover your living costs. So application and admission, obviously, that's something you have solved before applying, and paying your tuition fee, you do that directly to us. We will transfer the information to the Board of Migration, so you don't have to state that. When it comes to insurance, if you study a one-year program, Linnaeus University would cover your insurance, and that's mentioned on the admission letter, so make sure that you upload that. If you study a two-year program, the Board of Migration know that the Swedish government would cover your insurance, so then you don't have to prove that. And so the most important part is the bank statement. So you need to, when applying for example, a one-year residence permit, prove that you can cover your living expenses for 1 year. And approximately they demand 8,500 Swedish krona each month. So that would mean like 90,000 Swedish krona. That would be like 8,500, 9,000 euro on a bank statement. If you're applying for a 1 year resident permit. Usually you do that even if you're admitted to a 2-year program. Nowadays, it's also possible to apply for a 2-year resident permit directly. In that case, you need to cover even more.
That's great. Thank you so much, Stefan. I think we covered most of the questions that we have. If you have some more questions, please send them in the chat now. We could take a couple more minutes if there is anything more. And if it's not, then I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. It was really nice to meet all of you. And as Stefan mentioned before, we are getting closer to the deadline for applying. So make sure to go in and read through everything and make sure you have your papers in order and want to know what you want to study. And as I said, you can always reach us at study@lnu.se. And we also have our upcoming webinar next week. So make sure to join that if you have any more questions, and we will make sure to cover them all and answer all of that. And as we mentioned before, you can also chat with our students that we have at the university now. So there's a lot of ways to get in touch with us if you have any further questions.
Yes, thank you, Sofia and Stefan, very much for the presentation. We think it was a really informational webinar, and you put a real effort answering all of the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz. Linnaeus University ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için Sofia ve Stefan ile iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Yarınki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you again. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks. Do you have anything to add before we wrap up?
No, I'm just happy that we had a lot of interactions and people writing questions. It's always nice to see that people are interested. So thank you so much for joining and partaking and answering questions to us or asking.
The same from my side, and I'm also looking forward to meet some of you guys now in Sweden at Linnaeus University. That would be great, and the best kind of outcome of this, to see some of you in Sweden further on.
Okay, thank you very much. Take care, you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.